Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, now here I am continuing on with these obscure 2000s Disney movie reviews. And next up, this is going to be a review for The Rookie. Now, now once again, like I said in the kid, like not to be confused with like the newer ABC series, The Rookie. Yeah, yeah, like this isn't a review for that. Like this is a review for like the 2002 Dennis Quaid movie. So yeah, this is a review for that Rookie. Oh yeah. So, uh, this is a movie that doesn't really seem to be just like an obscure Disney movie from the 2000s, but it seems to be like one of the most obscure Disney movies, period. Really, just not really anybody talks about this movie at all. I mean, even back when this movie was like first released, I didn't even hear people even mentioning it at all. So, yeah, so this movie is just like probably like one of the most obscure Disney movies, period, of all time, not just from the 2000s. I mean, yeah, Doug Walker or Nostalgia Critic, yeah, he hasn't done like a Disney December for this movie, and I haven't even like uh, like I said, I haven't really heard anybody talk about this movie at all. So yeah, so this movie is just like probably like one of the most obscure Disney movies of all time. Yeah, and I never actually had really like seen this movie before. I think I maybe like did watch it like once, like when it like was a new release, but yeah, that's like pretty much the only time I've ever seen this movie prior to when I watched it to make this review. Yeah, so I really wasn't too sure what to really expect with this movie. Like the movie seemed to like be like really well received from both critics and audiences. Like it does have like an overall good score. Yeah, the score for it on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty good on the Tomato Meter and for the audiences. So yeah, so I was like expecting probably, I guess, for this movie to be pretty good, and yeah, that is pretty much what I got. This movie, yeah, it is actually a pretty good movie. Yeah, this movie is based on like a true story. It really is like based on the story of Jim Morris, Horace, and like him like really making it to to Major League Baseball because yeah, apparently Jim Morris like actually was like was like you know really like a wanting to really like well he really was determined to really make it to Major League Baseball, but yeah, after an injury really prevented him from ever like being able to try out for the major leagues. He's when like he was like in the age range for it. Yeah, eventually then like he was well not eventually but years later. Yeah, when he was already in his mid 30s, he finally was able to actually to try out for it, and he did then make it into the major league. He yeah he did make it into Major League Baseball, and yeah, and he debuted at the age of 35 years old, and he only played for like a couple years. So yeah, and that's really like what this movie really is about. Like I don't really know like really like how accurate this movie really is to the true story of Jim Morris. So yeah, so I can't really like make any comparisons on how this actually does how this actually does portray like the actual story of Jim Morris. But yeah, as this movie goes, yeah, it is a pretty good movie. Like it stars Dennis Quaid in the role of a Jim Morris, and yeah, he does do a pretty good job in the movie. I mean, yeah, pretty much like everybody else in the movie does like a pretty good job too. Like this movie, like it has a cast of it features Rachel Griffiths, it's Jay Hernandez, uh, Angus T. Jones, Brian Cox, Rick Gonzalez, Chad Lindbergh, and so yeah, and everybody overall they do pretty good. Yeah, yeah. This really does show like it really does a good job of like really like showing like the life that Jim Morris really did have because yeah, as the movie starts, you like see him when he's like still a kid like this. Like when the movie starts, he's probably like around like 13, 14 years old, and it really does show like the family life that he does have, and really just like shows that he really does love playing baseball, and he really is a very skilled pitcher. But yeah, but it also does show like how he wasn't able to play football in high school, and how he also like wasn't able to actually like how he wasn't actually able to make it into the big leagues due to an injury. But then yeah, then it shows like years later, as I said, and like when he's now living like his own life he finally does like uh, really see that he still does like have like the power to really the uh, play in the major leagues. Yeah, and pretty much like for this movie, it really is just showing him like starting really at the bottom and really working his way up into the major leagues. Like it does start with like he's just like simply coaching a high school baseball team, but then yeah, then and like with some like help from the team, like as he really is like coaching the team, he really does like discover like the power that he really does still have in his pitching. Yeah, and over time, like he really does like really help the team really do better, and the team really does like give him some encouragement also, and it really does eventually like lead him to actually trying out for like the professional leagues. Yeah, and it does show like him trying out. He really does like start at the bottom in the minor leagues, and over time, like he really does progress, and he eventually does make it into the major leagues. So yeah, so this movie really does do a good job of really just really showing the progression of really like starting at the bottom and working your way up to the top. So yeah, so the movie really does tell the story pretty good. And like I said, the performances in the movie, they're all pretty good. I mean, you got like Dennis Quaid, as I said, as Jim Morris. There's like his family with his wife, his kids, his father, mother. I mean, his fellow players and the high school team he's coaching. And yeah, and pretty much like everybody in his town. So yeah, so really just yeah, all the performances are really good. I mean, it's nothing really like groundbreaking. Like there's no like Academy Award winning performances is in this movie, but yeah, but the performances overall, yeah, they are like very solid performances. Yeah, so really just I really can't find really anything to really complain about. I mean, this film like it's not a masterpiece, but yeah, it is a very good movie, and I really do think it really does deserve recognition. I guess this was technically a film that I actually could have reviewed last year when I was like making my reviews for sports movies, but yeah, I guess I just decided not to review this because like just this film really isn't as well known as a lot of the as the movies that I did review last year when I did my sports movie reviews. But yeah, at least now I do get the chance to review it. Yeah, and yeah, and like I said, this movie it is pretty good. So if you haven't seen it before, I guess I would give it a recommendation, especially like if you are like into like sports movies and you really are looking for something that really isn't as well known as movies like Bad News Bears, Mighty Ducks, Space Jam, The Sandlot, and yeah, movies like that. Like if you really are looking for like something that really is not as well known, this is a good one to check out. Yeah, so I really don't know what else to say about it. It is just it's really good, and I really do feel that it does deserve more recognition because, like I said, I don't know really like how accurate this is to the actual story, but as a movie goes, yeah, it is a very good movie. So I would give the film probably 3.5 stars out of 4. Definitely a really good movie. All right, so yeah, I really don't know what else I can really say about it. So yeah, let me just jump into the story of the movie. So yeah, as the movie starts off, like I said, it shows Jim Morris kind of like around the age of probably like 13 or 14 years old, and he's played by Trevor Morgan when he's like young like this. Yeah, and it does show how Jim is like a very talented pitcher. Like he really does have skills of pitching, but he's never really able to really stick around and really like play baseball because his dad's in the military. Well, yeah, his dad is in the Navy. Yeah, and apparently, like his dad is getting like stationed in a whole bunch of different areas, so they constantly have to move. And yeah, and Jim can really just yeah, he can't actually like ever or like get a chance at really playing like good baseball because he just is never able to stick around because he's always moving because of his dad. Yeah, and even like when he actually isn't in like a little league team, and like his dad had like got restationed again, and so he has to move again, and he can't play the rest of the season with his team. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like showing how Jim really does have a dream of really making it into the major leagues, but his dad really is not approving of it, and he just really he doesn't support Jim's dream to make it into the major leagues, and he just like tells Jim that there are more important things in life than baseball. Yeah, yeah. And then like I said, then they have to move to another area, and they have to actually move into they have to move over to Big Lake, Texas. And yeah, and Jim's dad told him that apparently yeah, the town really doesn't have a love for baseball, and they prefer football instead. And as a result, Jim was not able to play football. He wasn't able to play baseball in high school at all. Yeah, and then the movie then talks about how then eventually Jim did get a chance to actually play in the major leagues when he was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers, but he ended up injuring his shoulder, and as a result, of course, he couldn't play, and that pretty much just seemed to just destroy his dream of making it into the major leagues. Yeah, and then then it eventually ends up cutting to when Jim is fully grown in the year 1999, and it shows he has a family of his own. He has a wife and 3 kids. Yeah. It shows that he is just a high school science teacher, but he also is the head coach of the baseball team, and his son, Hunter, who's played by Angus T. Jones, is the team's manager or bat boy or yeah, something like that. Yeah, he assists the team. Yeah, and then and one day, after a practice session with the high school team, then the team's catcher then just offered to just play catch with a Jim, but then as a Jim actually threw the ball to the catcher, then it just showed that he still does have the power in his fastball. Yeah, and yeah, and but yeah, only Jim the catcher and Hunter saw it. So yeah, Jim tried to just tell the two of them just to keep it among the 3 of them. Yeah, but then eventually, Jim then eventually ended up telling his wife Lori. Yeah, and then during another practice session on another day, then Jim ended up revealing it to the entire team. Yeah, and then then the team who was called the Owls. Yeah, the Big Lake Owls. Owls are the name of the team. Yeah, it shows that they're not very successful. They lose a lot of games, and just really don't have very good defense. Hence, yeah. But then after a lecture, after a game where Jim was really just telling them that they're really just giving up on what they really believe, and just how their dreams are dying, and they should still do what they want. Then the team brought up Jim's dreams and what he gave up on. Yeah. And then then with the team really believing that Jim still does have potential to actually pitch in the major leagues, he's, they then come up with a deal that if the Owls are actually able to win in district and actually make the state playoffs, Jim will actually try out again and for the professional leagues. Yeah. 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 And then then over time, during the more practice sessions, as Jim was actually throwing his powerful like putting his power into his pitches, it really did help the team with their hitting. Yeah. And then eventually the Owls do end up winning district, yeah. And then with their win, uh, they told Jim that it's time for him to follow up on his end of the deal. So, yeah, yeah. Then eventually, Jim and was told of nearby tryouts for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and then yeah, and Jim went to the tryouts, but he didn't actually tell his wife about it because he just had a fear that well, he thought that she would be afraid about him re-injuring his shoulder, and felt that her fear would keep him from going. Yeah, so then Jim took his 3 kids to the tryout with him, and then it showed that the professional scouts like we're actually really impressed by his ability to throw a ball at 98 miles per hour. And they also ended up telling Jim that he could actually be signed to a minor league deal. Then eventually, Jim's wife then like found out about him trying out after like two messages were left on the answering machine. Yeah, yeah, and then it showed that like Lori was really reluctant about Jim going because like of his like home responsibilities. But then after like she saw like that Hunter was really being inspired by Jim, then that Lori allowed Jim to go. Oh yeah, and it also like showed. I guess I should also talk about like in this movie, like when Jim's fully grown, it still like shows that like he still really does have like a pretty cold relationship with his father because of like him not really being in support of Jim's dream, and just with him always having to restation. Yeah, so yeah, throughout the movie, it does show that like Jim still does see his father, but yeah, their relationship like they really don't have a very good bond. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then yeah, it then at one point in the movie, like when Jim saw his father, like his father was still still like not really fully on board with him doing this, and he just like said to Jim, "It's okay to think about what you want to do until it's time to start doing what you were meant to do." Yeah, yeah. But then yeah, then Jim then yeah, then he went to go play in the minor leagues. Yeah, and then it showed that like initially like Jim was assigned to like the minor league Class AA Orlando Rays, who are now known as the Montgomery Biscuits. Yeah, but then yeah, he was like eventually like moved up to the AAA Durham Bulls. Yeah, so yeah, so it showed like Jim playing for like all those like minor league teams. Yeah, but over time, like because he was like away from his family all this time, and also because like the minor leagues really didn't pay very well. Like it was like it was revealed like later on, like at home, like with Lori, it showed that like like she was really mourning Bills. Well, yeah, but then yeah, then over time, like at one point, like when it really seemed to get like pretty bad for Lori. Then like Jim was really like he was almost like ready to just ditch his like his dream and go back home, remembering what his dad said to him. But then yeah, then Lori then like she told Jim that she didn't want him to give up his dream again, and was able to talk him out of it. Yeah, and then yeah, then it also like showed that like as Jim was watching a little league game play, he like remembered the same love that he had right ball as a kid, and that really inspired him to continue to pursue his dream. Yeah. Then after one game, like Jim ended up getting told that the major league club actually called him up, and he'll be playing in Texas on the Devil Rays, of course, in a game against the Rangers. Yeah. And then yeah, Jim like called back home and told his family, Hinley and everything. So yeah. So then when Jim went to Texas to play in the major leagues with the Devil Rays against the Rangers, then yeah, it showed that like pretty much all his peers, like which included like his family, the players on the high school team he coached, and a lot of the townspeople came to the game to support him. Yeah. And it showed how like all the coaches were really impressed in the warm ups in the bullpen with the power in Jim's fastball. Yeah. Yeah. And then it showed like with the game progressing, the Devil Rays were losing very badly against the Rangers. I think it was like a 5-1 or 6-1 game. Yeah. Then eventually Jim got like put into the game to pitch to Royce Clayton. Yeah. And it showed then that like Jim was able to like strike him out on three straight fastballs. Yeah, so yeah, in his major league debut, he was able to perform a strikeout in three pitches. Yeah, yeah. And then afterwards, then it just like cut to the after the game, and as the press was interviewing Jim, Jim saw that his father also came, and yeah, and after uh, then Jim went up to his father, yeah, his father admitted like how special it is to be able to see his son play in the majors, and then yeah, Jim like did thank his dad and actually gave him the ball that he struck out Royce Clayton with. Yeah, and then yeah, that patched up their relationship with each other. Yeah, then yeah, then and eventually then like Jim then met with like his wife and kids, and it showed like all the townspeople out there that came to the game, and then they were like applauding him as well for his success. Yeah, and then yeah, then the movie ended by like cutting back to Big Lake High School, and it showed like inside the trophy case, Jim's major league jersey was displayed in there, and then yeah, then it was then just like some text came on the screen saying that Jim would pitch in the major leagues for 2 seasons before retiring and returning to Texas. So yeah, so so really, like, yeah. So his major league career really didn't last very long, but yeah, I guess like since he was already like in his 30s, like his mid 30s by the time, I guess it does kind of like make sense why it was so short. But yeah, at least he did finally achieve his dream. So yeah, so yeah, so at least it was good that he at least did get what he had always dreamed about, even if it was a very short run. Yeah, and that's how the movie ended. Yeah. So, like I said, this is like a really good movie. Like, it's no masterpiece or anything, but yeah, the performances are really good. I think that like the story is told real well. Although, like I have said, I don't know like how accurate this really is to the true story. But yeah, as is, yeah, it is told very well. And yeah, so really, just I really can't really find anything to really complain about with the movie. I mean, no groundbreaking material or anything, but yeah, for the story that it tells, it's good. It is really good. Yeah, and Dennis Quaid is really good in this role, and the rest of the cast is really good as well. So yeah, I just really don't know what else I can really say, and just yeah, I can't really think of anything that's really not good about it. So yeah, so it is a really good movie. Like I said, if you haven't seen it before, I would recommend checking it out, especially like if you are sport fans, and if you are really looking for like a different sports movie that really isn't as well known as a lot of the popular ones are, such as the ones that I reviewed last year. Yeah, if you really are looking for something like that, this is a good one to check out. So like I said, 3.5 stars out of 4. All right. So yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, so that's it for my review of The Rookie. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.